Okay, I want to talk about another reform. This is a little sensitive as well. I want to talk about the need for reform of the guardian ad litem system, process, whatever you want to call it. And you know, this is another one that can be incendiary in my experience. Now, again, let me emphasize, my purpose here is to affect positive change, to make the world a better place, to make this a better system. And it is not to denigrate any individual actor, any institutional actor, to assail guardian ad litems on the whole. Okay, it's not personal at all. It's not about taking shots at people. It's not about getting people in trouble. None of that is constructive, and none of that helps the world become a better place. So I just want to be clear about that. Okay, now, that said, the way that we make the world a better place is that we find the courage to honestly, we need to get honest, okay? Difficult honesty is step one of solving any problem. Step one of solving any problem is getting honest about the problem, right? So we have to get honest about the problem. And in order to do that, I have to be able to talk about the problem. And I will talk about the problem generally. So generalizations are generally true, okay? So please keep that in mind when I say what I have to say here and I talk about GAL reform, okay? My purpose is not to offend anybody. I'm going to try and go out of my way not to offend anybody. At the same time, the overriding purpose is to make it better, okay? And in order to talk about how we're going to do that, I have to talk about how it is. And the purpose, likewise, is to solve a problem, okay? Let's be in the solution. But I can't talk about the solution, and we can't fashion a solution unless we talk about the problem and we get honest about the problem. That's the first step, okay? So just let's make sure we understand that. Also, let me say this. In my experience, certain guardian ad litems can be understandably a little fragile and a little, some might say, insecure professionally about their role, because up until 2014, a GAL, guardian ad litem, was not kind of a recognized, adult, in the system, in the family court system. I mean, it wasn't clear what they were. And so, but it became official then that they're like a real legal thing, and they're a party just like everybody else. But that wasn't clear before then. So there tends to be a little sensitivity, and I get that, and I want to be sensitive to it. At the same time, we got to solve the problem here, man. Okay, so let's get to it. What's the problem? Well, let me do some direct honesty here again. The GAL system is I don't think it's a stretch to say that it is a joke, okay? There are multiple components to it. There is I've had a lot of conversations with people in the community. I've had, part of this is informed by my own experience. In one of my cases, there's been a GAL, okay? There's a lot of frustration with the individual role of guardian ad litems, generally, their role generally in litigation. A lot of litigants get frustrated by that. There's a lot of frustration on the part of lawyers, okay? There's a lot of frustration at individual guardian ad litems who, kind of are repeat offenders here. I mean, just speaking frankly, you have a guardian ad litem appointed in a case, and from other sources, other people that have had that person as a guardian ad litem in their cases, whether it's a lawyer or as a litigant, it's not going to be a helpful kind of thing. And then you've got a lot of circumstances where you got guardian ad litems that a lot of complaints about, guardian ad litems, but they didn't do anything. Okay, they're just there to get their check. Okay, they didn't find out what was going on. I mean, they just punched their ticket kind of thing. Okay, or in some cases they didn't do anything at all. When they have, their purpose is to advocate and for the kids. You have a lot of issues where, look, the guardian ad litem is part of the court. The court is part of the state. We have a system whereby a fundamental premise of, how we approach families in this country is that parents raise kids, not the state. This is not Nazi Germany. This is not Sparta, okay? Parents get to decide how they want to raise their kids, okay? The state does not tell them. Now, the state has a role in protecting those kids from physical harm, from emotional harm. All that's great. But we don't have conversations about what's best for Johnny, okay? That's not the role of a GAL. It's just not. And when we're having those conversations, and when a GAL has an opinion about whether Johnny should play soccer or not, or, okay, first of all, I mean, that's dangerous. Parents and parents only and uniquely know their kids. Okay, they have, the full body of experience. I don't care how much time and how dedicated and how much energy a GAL or any other court actor or judge or therapist or anybody else, how much, visibility, how much experience they have with those kids. It is in every circumstance is less than 0.01% of the amount of experience that those parents have. And so those, here's a really good way to get stuff wrong, to make uninformed judgments, okay? And the less data that we have about something, the more uninformed it's going to be. So, court actors, the court, look, in our country, parents know kids, and when we have GALs getting involved and having opinions about, what's best for Johnny at that kind of level, he should be involved in more activities. Dude, you're not the kid's parent. Shoot. There's a lot of trepidation about that, and frankly, I think it's fair. We all have a role here, and a lot of damage gets done when we exceed our roles. The court has a role. It is limited, okay? Read the law. Here are the admissible facts. Apply the law. In many ways, it's just granted or denied. Okay, not the court's role to parent kids, not the court's role to figure out a solution to a problem. That is a recipe for a disaster, and I hope that we all understand why. Very clear limits of authority. Okay, separate video. Part of the problem is they get exceeded, families get hurt. Same thing with a GAL. Dude, you are here to advocate for the kids. Okay, and the law recognizes that it's really important that kids have the love and affection of both parents. The law recognizes that the kids need to be physically safe, and the law recognizes that they need to be emotionally safe. Beyond that, you're not, thank you very much, okay? It's not only is your opinion unwelcome, number one, it's not legally authorized, number two, and three, let's think about two there. Two's pretty big, right? Number three, it's dangerous when you have an opinion about less than full information, especially about something as complicated as raising kids. Mom and Dad, I love you, but this is where it's like my parents, or you got older parents who just think they know better. They don't. Yeah, okay, they can be as well intended as possible, come in and think that they're helping and cause more mayhem without even knowing it. So these are all issues with the GAL, right? Okay. We also have GALs who, another issue is, their appointment, okay? Now, we had a judge impeached in the Kenton County Family Court less than 3 years ago. Okay, there's only been 3 judges impeached in the history of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and one of them was just a couple of years ago, and it involved issues regarding the GAL. When I talk to people in the community, and I've had tons of conversations, there's 2 things that virtually always come up. The first is, oh, the lawyers, man. If I would have known then what I know now, I mean, we would have done it, okay? We would have done it totally different. And I agree with that. The suburban melodrama of domestic court is a revenue generating thing for lawyers. I don't agree with it. I do it a different way. I have my own place for a reason. That's not good. The second thing is I hear, man, the GAL, oh my God, that guy, that girl, not helpful, what is, and in some cases, they're hurting things. They're hurting kids, right? So all of these things are things that are related to the GAL. One more thing that's big, okay? The current system of appointing GALs is deeply flawed and does not comport with the rules. Won't surprise anybody. It's really important for a court to be impartial. If there's one defining characteristic about a court, right, it's impartial, okay? Not surprisingly, there are rules about this, conflict of interest rules, conflicts, okay? And in the GAL, framework, the statutory framework, the laws that authorize the GAL, it's right there, it's obvious. The obligation would be there whether they say it or not, but they actually say it, okay? When you pick a GAL, one thing you have to consider is whether they have a conflict, okay? Now, there's other rules that would impose that same obligation, the rules of professional responsibility, and just the inherent, and probably the standards of judicial conduct. We cannot have court actors of any kind, which is what a GAL is, having a conflict, being aligned in one way or another, or there being a perception that someone could be aligned, okay? The idea is when the impartial actors here, right? Right now, we are appointing guardian ad litems in the court system, and we don't know who they are. And if we don't know who they are, okay, you cannot, by definition, you can't comply with the conflicts rules. We don't know if there's a conflict. Just as an example, the Children's Law Center is a nonprofit. Okay, there's nonprofits that get appointed as guardian ad litems, but the nonprofit is the guardian ad litem. Okay, well, if you're appointing a guardian ad litem like the Children's Law Center, that is a nonprofit that does not disclose its donor role, okay? Guys, there is no way to know if there is a conflict in their appointment. What if one of the lawyers or one of the litigants through litigation is a huge individual donor to the Children's Law Center? Hopefully we can all agree it would be completely inappropriate for the Children's Law Center to be appointed a guardian ad litem in that case. That is that's what's going on right now, okay? So we're not complying with the ethics rules. We're not. Yesterday, today, tomorrow, until something changes, and that's a big part. So all of these things are GAL related issues. Okay, finally, here's the biggest. Okay, we have guardian ad litems who take the position that they can do whatever they want. And again, they're super sensitive because until 2014, they were not like real legal people. Now they're real legal people, and by golly, some of them do not want to be reminded of, they don't want to be told what to do, okay? But here's the thing. They have real legal duties, okay? And there are rules for guardian ad litems. They have to do certain things. They may not do other things. And the things that they have to do are called legal duties. In my litigation, just as an example, the guardian ad litem, who happened to be from the Children's Law Center, okay? On the record, in court, has steadfastly taken the position that he has no legal duties to be impartial. He does not have a legal duty to be impartial. He hasn't talked to me one time, only the other parent. He has taken the other parent's position on every single issue without even like consulting with me. He's refused to talk to me about, the concerns I have about how he interacts with his clients, my children. They routinely complain about this to me. They hate the guy. They tell me that the way he talks to them kind of suggests that he's trying to shape their point of view about like being anti-dad. And I completely disagree with the subject matter. And the standards for GALs, I mean, it should not be going on that way. But the position is, I'm a GAL, I'm their lawyer, whatever, okay? But we're really encroaching upon some parental things there. That's not the way it's supposed to work. So, you have GALs taking a position that they don't have, they can do whatever they want, and they have no legal duties. Guys, here's the law. Okay, court case. There's other court cases. This one happens to be recent. Gamble versus Croucher, June 25th, 2021. Published opinion, binding precedent, June 25th, 2021, Court of Appeals, Kentucky. Okay, just off the top of my head, quote, like prosecutors, court-appointed GALs have duties that are imposed by law. Direct quote. Okay, also from this. We note that there are protections in place against the GAL who fails to diligently and impartially carry out his assigned judicial function. Again, direct quote, that's the law. Now, when we have GALs coming into court and on the record saying, yeah, I don't have a duty to be impartial, and worse, when we have a judge who says, yeah, that's right, okay, guys, that's a problem. That's a little scary, okay, right? So we need this GAL reform on all of those levels, right? And we need to start with that difficult honesty. This is a massive problem, and there's a history that is just blatant and palpable. We can't make any progress to solving that problem so long as we are unwilling to recognize that problem. So I recognize it, and if I am, God help us all, the next judge at the Kenton County Family Court, we will address this problem. We will address this problem, and we will address it the way that we will address every problem that I perceive down there, in this way. We will consult the law, the rules, whatever is binding, okay, the way it's supposed to be. We will look at the way it is, and we will make the way it is turn into the way it's supposed to be. Now, that's not going to be popular with some, but judging and justice is not the business of popularity. It is the business of getting it right, doing the right thing, following the law, popular or otherwise. So, I thought it important to talk about this. Again, a lot of wonderful GALs out there. I have friends who are just unbelievable GALs who don't even get paid for it. Just do it because they're passionate about helping the kids. I've used them as resources as I went through my own litigation. I've never dealt with a GAL before, and there was days when I'm calling my friend up, hey, this happened. Like, there's no way that should be something that should happen. There's good GALs, but generally, we have a problem. We have a problem with the system. I just wanted to be transparent with the Kenton County public. For those that are interested, in the event they may want to know where I stand on this, okay? Happy Thursday. I hope you are making the world a better place today. We're trying to here. God bless.